Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Nimesh and today I will be talking about my experience with the PwC graduate application process. Just an introduction to me, I went to Aston University where I studied accounting and graduated in 2017. Then since then I've been applying for graduate jobs itself, going to many assessment centres, so I have lots of experience within this area. So since October 2017, luckily, I managed to find a job within corporate hospitality, so it's completely different from assurance and accounting as a whole. So I worked as a team member, then luckily progressed into a team leader role and learned a lot about myself during this time. This wasn't my first time within the PwC application process itself. I've applied many times, 3-4 times. So to those who have applied to PwC before, or whether it's your first time, and if you don't get the job yourself, never give up. Keep applying. I think you have to wait 6 months in between each application, and as you can see from myself, you'll eventually get the job. So with the PwC graduate application process itself, it has changed since from when I graduated in 2017 until 2020. The old application process was a lot easier than the application process which eventually I got offered from somehow. The old application process was an online application, answering a few questions, then an online test, so numerical test like a verbal reasoning test. Then from there, if you pass that, you would go to an assessment centre, and from that it would be like a final interview. So I went through this process like 2-3 times itself as well. 2 times going to the assessment centre and 1 time going through the final interview and not getting the offer. 2019, it changed into a new application process. So the first is the online application itself. So just general topics, so general information about yourself. Then just a few questions asking why you want to join PwC, and just general questions about what interests you in assurance or whatever line of service you're going into. So from there, everyone would generally go into the next step of career evaluation. This is a situational judgment test. So this is basically where you watch scenarios of the working environment and you will answer of how you would respond accordingly. Basically, it's to see if you're right fit, to see if you fit in with the company culture. Basically, it's just common sense. Choose the ones that make sense. Don't go for the options that make you look bad or make you look cocky, for example. Choose the one that makes you look as like a team player. Look at the values of PwC itself and match your answers to that. If you pass the career evaluation stage, you would then go on to Career Unlocked. This is a game-based assessment where you will be asked to download an app on your phone or your iPad and basically complete a variety of small games that assess your behaviours, how you overcome challenges, how you work towards goals, and how you make decisions. Well, they're not hard games itself, but there's 7 or 8 types of games that you need to complete, and it basically just measures these qualities. So as I've said, from my own experience, it's nothing hard, but you just need to complete the games and hopefully get like a good score on it. There was one game that I couldn't complete, and I just had to skip. There was one game, it was like a vault game where you would need to start the pointer or like the arrow on like a red zone, and it would get quicker and quicker each time. And to be completely honest with you, the first 3 levels, 3-4 levels were completely easy, but then it got to a speed where it would be impossible. So I tried it like 10-15 times and eventually just gave up. I think for that game, they just want to see how long you attempt the game for, but that's just my opinion. It could be completely different. There is a second game where you need to pump up a balloon of different sizes. Then based on how big the balloon is, it depends on how much money you get. Well, if the balloon bursts, you get nothing for that balloon. So as I said before, I think this type of game demonstrates how you overcome challenges but also how you make decisions. So if one type of balloon goes up to $20, then for the second time, it's whether you go back to $20 or whether you go up to $25 just to see the extra increase. So yeah, I think it just measures how you overcome different challenges and different decisions, whether you take more money, whether you are just neutral along the whole situation. As I said before, it's nothing too hard, just a series of games, and it's just common sense. Just don't overcomplicate it, and you should be able to get to the next step. Okay, so the next step is career conversation. Personally, in my opinion, it's the hardest stage of the whole application process itself. Well, this is a video interview consisting of around 7 to 8 questions. So here, you'll be shown a video and then have 2 to 3 minutes to prepare, and then you'll present. So with a video interview, you only get one chance to present itself. So make sure you know what you're talking about and try not to mess up, try not to look around, and just be professional as if you're talking to someone else right in front of you. So I think the first couple will be around PwC and why you have chosen a field that you have applied for. So with this, don't give generic answers. Think what PwC are doing above others, and then link it to yourself. Next few will be how you would respond in like a real world working environment. A massive tip here would be to do some research. It could be going on the PwC website itself and finding out what they are doing in a minute, or it could be completely different and using social media to get a gauge of what kind of questions. Or for example, look on YouTube. For me, it was a massive help. So I've heard from other people that the interview itself is marked by a computer, not an actual person. So maybe focus on clearly communicating to the camera itself, but also focusing on the main points that will push you to the next step itself. So for me personally, I would say get to the point straight away and then explain the benefits and how it links to PwC. All I'm saying is do some research, look online, there might be something that could help you. Okay, so one of the final questions will be a case study. So here you'll be given a lot more time to prepare, but also a lot more time to answer. Here, make sure you read the question carefully, and again, only talk about the main points. If there's any figures in a case, I would highly recommend using them. So the last question may be about if you want to add anything extra. So for this, I chose to link myself to the PwC attributes. Okay, so if you pass this stage, then congratulations, you're onto the final stage, the career focus day. So basically, this is an assessment center. For myself, as I've said at the start, I've been to many assessment centers before, and personally, in my opinion, this is one of the more structured days. So in a normal assessment center, you'll be told where you need to go, what activity you'll be doing, from the assessors. So this year, PwC have changed their career focus day. At the start of the day, you'll get like a general introduction to the company and what you'll be expected to do during the day, like a general introduction. From there, we were then provided laptops, but also a calendar to show what we will be doing throughout the day. So making sure my time management was up to scratch. Therefore, if I was doing like an individual task, I would manage my time effectively in order to make sure it was submitted on time. The calendars also show the room numbers for the different activities. So rather than being told to go to the next activity itself, we would have to ensure we were on time ourselves. So this is what made it different to a lot of assessment centres that I've been to, and personally I enjoyed it. I believe the day was made up of a couple individual assignments, a couple group assignments, and then a final interview at the end of the day. Good tips for the day itself would be to just be yourself. It makes it 10 times easier, plus it allows your personality to shine rather than being someone that you're not. So when you arrive at the office itself in the morning, make sure you introduce yourself to the other applicants and start a conversation. I promise you there's nothing more awkward than just sitting around with other people that you know you're going to be working with for the rest of the day. So just start talking to one another and get to know each other. Plus it will be a lot easier to interact during the day itself. So a final tip from myself would be to get involved. So don't be that person who just dominates the conversation, but also at the same time, don't be the person that just shies away from giving your point. So luckily, everyone at my assessment centre was awesome and allowed everyone to give valid points in the different group tasks. Okay, so just one more point. Make sure you know why you want to join the company itself and what interests you. For me, it was more about the technology side. So I applied for assurance, just normal audit. But in that final interview, when I was talking about the digital side that interests me, I didn't get a place on the normal external audit team. I managed to get a place on digital audit. So if you manage to share your interest in these different situations, you might be able to get different opportunities coming your way. So that being said, that is the recruitment process of PwC in 2020 at least. I would like to wish you all the best for your applications. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I will also be making videos about my experience as a joiner at PwC. So give the video a like if you'd like to see more videos. So again, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.